Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, the channel where we are making a computer role-playing game using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. A subscriber named Kevin Cavendish suggested that I should upload the code that I've been making so that people can download it and have a look at it in more detail if they want to. This is something I was toying with doing at some point in the future, but because someone wanted it, I've decided to do it now. And I'm going to spend this video talking about where to get it and what use it is and so on. So the first thing is where to go. Now I'll put this link in the description of the video, but also you go to Gamebook Generator, so GAMEBOOKGenerator.itch.io. Why is it called Gamebook Generator? It's called Gamebook Generator because of a project that I did a while ago that I have abandoned. And I just decided to use the same account. So you go there, you'll have a sort of list of projects. You might find these old ones vaguely interesting, but they are made in Twine, so they might be slightly relevant. At least these two are made in Twine. That one's a print and play version of that. But anyway, so this is probably the one you're most interested in. And we click on this. Or you can just go straight here, of course, gamebookgenerator.itch.io/lmag. And then you click on this download, and it'll treat it as however your browser treats downloading files. It'll either put it straight to your downloads folder or give you the option of where to download it. Once you download it, just X out of there, it'll look something like this. It'll be in a zip file, which is a compressed file. And if you double click on it, hopefully this is all you'll need to do. On my computer, or the one I'm using here, which is an Apple, if you click on that, it just creates the folder wherever you are. On a PC, on my PC, if I double clicked on this, I would get a window with the folder, and then I drag the folder onto the desktop. If it doesn't sort of know what to do with it, that probably indicates that you don't have a program for unzipping zip files, and you'll need to download one and install that before you can sort of get to the files. If you have any problems with doing that, if you do need to do it, just leave a comment and I'll go through that in more detail in the future. But hopefully you will be able to unzip it and you'll end up with a folder, and in the folder will be the code itself and at least the structure, the file structure that I've been using, the pictures of the different races, and that's a picture that's used in sort of older versions of the game. Unfortunately, the map folder and the map originals folder had the pictures of different layouts of tunnels, and those pictures I didn't make, someone else made them, and they haven't given permission to distribute them, so I didn't include them. But what I've done is there's a text file in map originals, and that will give you the address where I got them, and also the Patreon of the person who made them. The person who made them seems to be fine with people downloading and using them, but doesn't seem to want people distributing them. I don't know how they feel about using them in games, so bear in mind that those pictures aren't mine, and you would need to contact the person who made them if you wanted to use them. But let's look at the what most of you are probably most interested in, which is the code. So the way that you would get that HTML file to be in your Twine program is, once you load up Twine, you choose Import and then choose File, In this case, it's already in the right folder, but you might get, it might show you the desktop, and then you click in the folder, click that one, and it will import it, and that will allow you to look at the code. Bear in mind that running it from here will work fine in terms of everything but pictures. If you want to run it with the pictures coming up properly, you will need to go in here and double click on that one, and that'll open in whatever web browser you've set to open HTML files. And because you're running it from the location where all these folders are and the pictures are, it will it will be able to find the pictures. If you run it from within Twine, it won't. But this is what you need to do in order to look at the code. So finally, I'll just have a quick look at what's in here. I don't think I've talked about Twine's zoom function yet. It has a fairly primitive zoom function where there's only 3 options. This is sort of the default, and this is the one that I use most of the time in my videos. But if you want to look at what's in here, you're probably better off using the most zoomed out option, at least initially. And you'll see that there are 5 completely separate sets of pages, each of which demonstrates a different thing that I've done in a different video. Now, if you want to run anything other than this one, you'll notice that this green logo that indicates which page is the starting page. So if you wanted to run this one, for example, you would need to make that the starting page, and you do that by making sure you're in the passage menu and then start story here, and you'll see the green icon move. So it's usually pretty obvious which one's the starting page. That one's the starting page, that one's the starting page, that one's the starting page, the one that says setup, and that one's the starting page, which is called start. So let's go through the 5 different ones and what they are. This one is a system for more choose your own adventure style games rather than sort of moving around a map where it just says you come to such and such. And in this, you've got, in this case, 5 possible encounters, and it will send you to a number of these encounters in a random order and never sending you to the same one twice. The actual encounters are sort of blank because this is just to generate this structure, but that might be useful if you're wanting to do a more choose your own adventure style game. This one is a demonstration of generating a random description of a monster. This one demonstrates adjusting of the player being able to choose their own attributes. And I will mention one thing, that story caption is a special title for a page. If you have a page with exactly the title story caption like that, if you use exactly that title, including the capital letters and the no spaces, the game knows that means execute this page every time you execute any other page, and also execute it in the sidebar. And I use story caption to usually to display the players or the player character's attributes. Now, and if you change the starting page, if you change it to that one, and because you're wanting to run this, it'll still use this story caption. So you would also need to rename this, and you can do that from up here, or you can do it from within the page itself. So you might rename that XXX or other story caption or something, and then rename this one story caption, and then you can and set this to be the starting page, and that way you'll get the right story caption, and you won't get any errors. So going down, this one is the one that I've been using in sort of recent videos. It is a demonstration of interacting with monsters. So giving you the choice of whether you're going to be haughty or humble or whatever, and then rolling against attributes and deciding what happens based on your choices and the player character's attributes and random chance. And finally, this one is, and this is another case of a story caption that you'd need to change. This one demonstrates two separate things. First of all, it demonstrates generating attributes randomly, in this particular case using the equivalent of rolling 3 6-sided dice for each attribute, and then adjusting them based on the race that the player chose. So dwarves get bonuses to certain attributes and penalties, and then elves also get bonuses and penalties. Humans, as is usual in games of this type, are the sort of middling centre default type of option, and so they don't get any increases or decreases. So that demonstrates randomly generating attributes, and then it also has this very simple choose your own adventure option, which doesn't actually relate to the attributes. It's one that I did before I did generating the attributes. So you have to cross the bridge. You can either wade across the river or go over the bridge. What happens depends on the R variable, which is the race that the player has chosen, whether they're a dwarf, elf, or a human. And it might involve being asked a riddle, which is randomly chosen, and then if you enter the correct answer, one thing happens, and if you enter an incorrect answer, another thing happens. So, hopefully, some of those might be useful for you. If you find that I have sort of skipped over something in the video where I discuss it, or if you can't find the video where it's discussed in detail, because sometimes I'll discuss things in a video and just sort of skim over them and just say, well, this does this, rather than discussing the code line by line, because I've done it in a previous video. So you might find it difficult to find the video, or you might just find that my explanation doesn't explain everything you want explained, and so you might want to look at the code, or you might just want to copy and paste the code. I'm perfectly happy with any individual cutting and pasting any of this code. So hopefully that'll be useful for some of you. I will keep updating it as I change the code. I don't think I will sort of upload it necessarily after every single video, but I will keep it updated. And if you want a more detailed look at a particular thing, then you know where to go. So as I say, I hope that's useful or interesting to some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.